Welcome to the Men Awareness, Red Pill Awareness Conversation for Men podcast. I am one of your hosts, Herb. This is the other host, Jay. And what we are going to discuss right now is we're going to discuss something that has come up over the last few days with the big example being the Dr. Dre divorce. But also there's a couple other examples that I'll throw in there. The Jay Cutler divorce, if you don't know who he is. He was a quarterback of the Chicago Bears, and his wife filed for divorce and initially started out as amicable, but then she tried to get an enormous amount of money from him. And how is that relevant to Dr. Dre? Because
Tracy Morgan getting divorced, and his wife not only wants half of his estate, she also wants some of the money he got when he got hurt in his accident.
Yep.
And many men feel like, how are you entitled to that? Because it wasn't active work. He almost died, and there was a settlement because the driver of the vehicle made an error. So it's not something you supported him on, like you weren't lifting the truck off him. How are you entitled to that? But many women think that she is. Okay.
Yeah. So the overall topic of this podcast is going to be, what do one deserve?
What
does one deserve in a divorce? And this is applicable to men, but more often than not, you see this situation pertaining to women being divorced. So, Jay, elaborate on something for me. We were talking about something off camera pertaining to a discussion that you had on social media pertaining to a lot of women's reaction that you saw, and the fact that Dre's wife supposedly did not or wasn't aware that Dre had a prenup, which will hinder a lot of the finances she's going to receive. And a lot of women felt some kind of way about that.
As I do in my posts most of the time, I post things just to spark conversation. I don't really take a side. I just post it and see what happens. I enjoy people's reactions to it. So the post was about Dr. Dre's wife found out Mogul has a prenup. Dre is worth $800 million. So she was under the impression that he didn't have one, and now it got out that he does have one, which means she may or may not have signed it and not been knowledgeable about what she signed, whether that's here or there. He has one in place. And the comments that I received, for the most part, from men were like, okay, she doesn't deserve to have half. But then on the other side, women said after being together 25 years with 5 kids, she deserves to get paid. And that was a back and forth conversation. And then some men were chiming in saying that this is the reason why they never get married. This is the reason why they don't believe in marriage. This is the reason why they have trust issues with women. And the women were saying, well, she deserves this, she deserves that. Your trust issues are your own issues. And the men were like, well, I have a right. It was just
shaming.
It was just shame. Like, if he doesn't want to get married because he has issues with women, that's his right to do so. The same way you don't want to date a short man or a man without a beard. No, most men aren't mad at that. We're not.
Hey, I can't get a beard, so I've learned to deal with it.
I mean, but everybody has their preferences.
I can't get a beard.
But the general consensus of it was that she deserves half of what he earned. And what the men were saying, like, he is one of the best producers in hip hop. Dare I say, next to Timberland, DJ Premier, because I'm a big hip hop head. You'll find that out during the podcast. But I'm saying that because he has produced a lot of people. He put in a lot of work. Yes, she supported him. Yes, she helped him out with his kids. But does that mean you deserve to have half, if not more, than what that man has earned? And I was talking to her one time off camera, off the show, if you're a Missy Elliott and you've had all these hit records, it's a illustrious career, you're an icon, and a man marries you, and the marriage only lasts 2 years, I don't think the man deserves to have half of her stuff. But I don't get that same understanding when the situation's reversed.
And from a celebrity standpoint, the only times you've really seen that reverse, documented wise, was Britney Spears.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. So, before we go in, the one thing I want to stress is that everything that we're saying is our opinion. We're not acting like our opinion is fact. Whoever listens to this are entitled to how you feel about it. But the things that we're discussing it's our opinion based off of what we see and what's going on. You feel free to disagree. Feel free to rage, be mad, or whatever. But we're coming at it from a very logical standpoint, so understand that. So with that being said, here's my let's put out a few things that a lot of these women that are mad or made comments need to be aware of. One
of them actually said to poison him.
Wow.
Yeah. Poison him.
Wow.
That's what she said.
Wow.
If he doesn't pay you, poison him.
Wow. So yeah, so if we as a man said our rich wife, if she's not going to pay you, poison her, that would be considered a terroristic threat, and our ass in domestic violence, and our ass is going to jail. So I don't quite understand why a woman thought this was acceptable to say. But again, that's the double standard that we live in. So one of the things that I think needs to be addressed when it comes to that situation is, the reality is, if Dre has a prenup, she had to sign it. Period. Now, maybe she wasn't aware because she was just caught up in the ideal of marrying Dr. Dre. Who in the hell knows? But the reality is, if there's ones in place, she signed it. And it's no one's fault but hers and her alone that she wasn't aware of what she signed. Period. So I don't understand why women are feeling some kind of way about it, because that's just the fact. If there's one in place and she signed it, it's not a whole lot she's going to be able. Now, in some states, let's be fair, in some states,
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
because
prenups
remember that Tiger Woods also had a prenup in place, but I think because he cheated, like 16 times over, it became null and void.
Yeah, no judge going to be okay.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's the case with Dr. Dre. I'm not really all up in their marriage. I'm not really all up in any celebrity's marriage for the most part, unless it just becomes a popular thing on my timeline, then I may chime in. But if that's not the case, then there really isn't anything that she can do.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any details about him wanting to give her absolutely nothing or denying her support of her and the kids. I don't think he's that type of person.
Dude, most men don't do that.
But
most men are not good. Most men don't sit there and be like in a divorce, I'm not giving you shit. Like, and that's one of the things that annoys me when it comes to these situations, because a lot of women are taking it personal to the point where they'll be like, they're acting like she shouldn't get a dime. No man you talk to, when you ask them their opinion when it comes to this type of situation, that they're going to say she shouldn't get a dime. No man is saying that. No. You know what I mean? You've been with a woman for umpteen years. You got kids, which their kids are all grown, so child support's not an issue. And you built things, memories and households and things with that woman. No dude is going to sit there and be like, nah, she shouldn't get shit. However, the man is worth $800 million plus.
Knock him on $1 billion.
Right. Now, I'm sorry, ladies. I'm going to say something you ain't going to like. Sorry. But the reality is, she wasn't there doing those business deals. She wasn't there helping him with the beats. She wasn't there helping him sign the artists. She wasn't there hands-on involved when building an empire. She was there chilling, doing her part, being a wife, and enjoying the fruits of his labor, as most women should do.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that because she did that, I wouldn't have Eddie. No.
And like I say, because I'll always flip the turntables around.
No.
If she was a mechanical engineer working for the government and invented a incredibly advanced missile system, and they cut her a check for $1 million, and unless Dre helped her with the system design, the fuel for it, the targeting system, he does not deserve half her assets. So why is it that these two men agreed that he does not deserve half her assets if this happened while they were married? But y'all think because she was with him, she automatically deserves $400 million instantly in a divorce.
That makes absolutely
Is it his gender
no
that
sense.
makes it better, easier for her to get the $400 million? Because if you're saying it is, then you are the problem. You can't because you want to be equal when it suits you.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one other topic. We definitely going to dive knee deep in that ass on that topic.
Yeah. I mean,
But I reiterate, if you did not contribute to the copyright, production, design of said business, you do not deserve 50% of the business. You don't deserve that. 25. Now, I mean, we can work, but half of that? Come on, man. No. Some of y'all wouldn't give me half y'all cheese stick if I was your husband. You were like, yo, I'll sing to the store, get your own.
Remember, and I've had women say this to me, what yours is mine and what's mine is mine. Mm-hmm. I laugh at that shit because it's ridiculous. However, women seem to believe this. I think it's completely moronic. I'm sorry, we're not the all police.
Right.
I told y'all before, we're going to emphasize we're not the all police. So thank you for catching me on that. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, like, it logically does not make any sense. And so that's why we are addressing this topic. What does one deserve when it comes to a divorce? Because it seems as though us as men, we have a very realistic expectation when it comes to that. We understand that, hey, I was with her for 4, 5, 6 years. I did build some kind of life for her. I have children with this woman. This woman might have lived a certain lifestyle because of me. So I can't just be like, all right, so now that we're divorced, go get a job at McDonald's. I mean, from a logic standpoint,
I don't think anyone's saying that.
Yeah, come on.
I don't think anyone's saying that. But I know we're tired of the court systems swaying in the favor of the woman, and no matter what the circumstance. There have been circumstances in California where people have gotten divorced where the infidelity was on the part of the woman, and she still got half of that man's assets. He was completely faithful. Good father, faithful, not abusive, not verbally abusive, not physically abusive, hard worker, clean reputation in Hollywood, which is almost impossible with all temptations. Got cheated on, and she still left with half his assets. You cheat, you a whore? I get it. Rip his nuts off in court, ladies. You have at it, no problem. Because if he was going to do that, then you're putting your livelihood and your marriage at risk. You deserve what's coming to you. I'll sign that check, no problem. But if he hasn't done anything, no. Sorry, no.
Yeah.
Not just because you're born a woman do you automatically deserve. No. Same way I don't think a man just automatically deserves something when he's leaving a woman that's wealthy. No. I don't.
And our issue is that there are a lot of women that don't understand this concept. Case in point, my man's, Facebook page, where there were a lot of women upset. I mean, upset that when they found out. First off, let's back up. When a divorce came up, all you saw was a lot of memes and stuff like, yes, girl, yes, get it, girl, get him, go get paid, girl. That's what we at in 2020. That's what we at in 2020. Not, damn, that's fucked up. They've been together for so long, and they getting divorced. Oh, that's sad.
What is the modern day colloquialism for that? In your feelings, feelings, emotions, love, passion, empathy. These are all things of the past for the most part, for a lot of people. Yeah. It's to a lot of people it's weakness, it's It's just not important to them.
Ooh, I can't wait to get in that one.
It's all about
we'll
monetary gains,
later.
status, being popular, being the it girl, being lit, or whatever stupid ass slang y'all got nowadays. Yes, I said it's stupid. But it's never about the emotional part of what goes on. Whether it's Will and Jada, whether it's Dr. Dre, whether it's anybody, it's always about the finance. Always. And when a person like me calls you on that, you get mad at me because I'm highlighting how shallow you are. And you can be shallow. You can be shallow. Some people love the low road. Ain't nothing. Hey, if you a low road person, go for it. This is not the Oprah Winfrey show. You low road, rock with that, but own it. Be low road all the time. Be petty all the time. All the time. Own it.
And it is relevant for us as men to discuss these things because though they're celebrities and they're working with a whole lot more assets than the rest of us, the reality is you have to pay attention to the mindset of women in 2020 when it comes to marriage. You know, you have to be mindful of a woman's intention or their mindset when it comes to you choosing them as your wife. Because the reality is, and this is something you're going to hear a lot, 50% of marriages end in divorce. 60 to 75% of that are initiated by women. It's just the reality. That's the facts. It's the reality of the situation. You have to understand that. So you have to choose wisely and really understand what are you getting into when you make that decision. You know, now in the case of Dre was with this woman for a very long time. But, you know, things change. People change. You
Quickly.
know. And
you're not always aware of the change.
Especially us as men, we're not aware because...
Take it from a person who has been married and divorced. You're not always aware of the change.
No.
You're not. And I'm not taking shots at my ex. It is what it is. No. When things changed, I was the last to know. That's it.
Yeah. So...
I was already dead. Didn't know it.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm not saying that we're not saying what we're saying to discourage of marriage. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not against it either. However, in 2020, we need to be more aware. We need to pay attention to the things that are going on to help you understand where marriage is and where marriage is in 2020.
To put it quite simply, I plan to get married again, no matter what the state of people's values when it comes to relationships. But what I'm going to ask myself directly is this person valuing me or the assets I've attained, the success I've attained? Because I have plans to do a lot of big things, and they're already in motion. But you have to ask yourself, as a man or a woman, if I lost everything, would she still value me? And I'm going to say it again. If you lost everything, would she still value you?
Gentlemen, ask that question.
Now, you can ask it on Facebook or Instagram, and 90% of the people are going to front like they would. I'm just going to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Because those kinds of questions are either going to reveal your evil side or your good side, and most people are not really to show you all the cards in their deck. Those are the kinds of questions that 90% of the people are going to give you a facade for that. But if you're with somebody, wholeheartedly with somebody, the signs are going to be there whether or not they're going to rock with you if you lost everything right now. And if it's an arrangement where it's I'm doing for you and you're not doing for me, or you're only with that person because they can do for you, that's a problem. Because if anything in that dynamic changes, we're not able to provide for you. We're going to get into the whole provide thing too at some point in the show. Would she or he still be around? And most of the time, the answer is no. Because a lot of people in relationships, before they even get married, have no idea who you're sitting next to or laying next to. Because you're not communicating. Which is my 2 cents.
And the reality is, in this day and age, and I hear this more so from women than from men, most people are not getting married for love. They're not getting married for love. They're getting married for potential, for not being lonely, for the sake of saying that they married, or for the fact they just want to go through the motions of getting married, because that's something that
higher tax brackets.
Yeah, higher tax brackets.
Stability.
Yeah. I mean, also because a lot of women, when they were younger, were programmed and told to believe that the pinnacle of womanhood is to be married
And have children.
And
if you don't do both those things, you're not a woman. I've had conversations with female friends that I'm very close with who think that their worth as not only a woman but as a human being is diminished because they're unable or do not want to have children, or they have no interest in getting married. And I told them, you're still a woman whether you do these things or not, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The same way as a man, don't be with anyone, any woman who's only going to be with you for what you can do for her. Don't validate yourself for what you can do for someone. That is ridiculous. And I don't place value on myself for what I can do for the next one I'm with. I'm a man when I wake up in the morning, handle my business, stay out of trouble. I'm an honorable person to my peers. That's what makes me a man. Absolutely. I did not mention my job. I did not mention how much money I have in the bank, my education. None of that superficial crap matters.
Absolutely.
Are you a manager or are you a man of principle?
Yeah, because the reality is that those are the things that you're going to be measured on. But the reality is that before you can even concern yourself with that, you got to look at yourself and be like, all right, cool. What am I doing as a man to make myself feel as though I'm being a man? It can't be figured out or measured by somebody else, especially not a woman. And to bring it back to the whole, Dre situation, I think it's just very interesting to me, a lot of people's reaction to it, especially women, a lot of people's reaction to it, and just the mindset of how the entitlement that some women have when it comes to these things, that they felt as though they've deserved something, or I'm not going to say that they don't deserve something, but it's more so they deserve more or half because I was somebody's wife, because I had children with somebody. Okay? That's not an acceptable reason. When it comes to children, it's a choice, which, me being a father, you realize that choice is more on the woman than it is on you as a man. So it's a choice. It's not like, okay, I decided to have children, now you need to reward me for the shit. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. If we as men had that same mindset, we would get shamed, ridiculed, the whole nine. It would be ugly. It would be ugly. So I think us as men, what we need to be aware of is look at these situations and really question marriage. Make sure that you are definitely doing it with the right person for the right reasons. That you're not doing it because I don't want to be alone, or this chick pussy is that damn good, because the reality is we do that shit.
This is true.
I
think
we do that shit.
Now more than ever, when these situations pop up and you're with somebody, you need to really gauge their reactions. I think the first reaction from when these topics are discussed, when this person is sitting across from you and you're with that person and they're perfectly sober and within their right mind, you need to gauge their reactions. This is something I wish I would have done many times before in my past relationships. If their reaction shows something you don't like, it needs to be discussed
immediately
that day, preferably in person.
And fellas,
I'm not saying automatically dump the person. I'm not saying automatically put them in the doghouse, so to speak, but gauge their reaction. And if it clashes with your values and your sense of worth and your principles, it needs to be discussed. You're either going to come to a compromise or you know what happens next.
And fellas, the one thing I want you to remember, please remember what I'm about to say. When it comes to a woman, Observe what they do, not what they say. I'm going to repeat. Observe what they do. Do not observe what they say. The reason being is reaction and body language will tell you a whole lot more than what comes out of their mouth. I'm not saying all women are liars. I'm not saying all women are deceitful. But let's just keep it 100 here. Majority of women are more emotional than logical. So you have to be observant of what they do more so than what they say. Because all of us can be honest and realize at some point in our lives, in our relationships or our marriage or whatever, our significant other has said one thing. And then you turn around and be like, what the fuck just happened? That's not what you just said. There's no rhyme or reason for it.
Oh, there's a reason. There's a reason.
I'm trying to...
The reason... often the reason is, and this goes on both sides of the equation, what is discussed in conversation directly from across your significant other, you have already made up your mind what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. This conversation is only to appease or keep peace in the house at this moment. Because you already know, the minute this conversation is over, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really mean anything. And that works both ways. I'm always going to be the person that looks at it from both sides of the table. But what Herb and I are saying is that you need to be paying close attention to behavior.
Absolutely.
That is very important. This is exactly how the feds train agents to investigate people. It's not what you say verbally when I'm investigating you and interrogating you, I should say. It's how your body language is. If I'm asking you a question about a certain case and you react a certain way, I already know you're lying. Because your body's going to snitch on you 9 times out of 10 unless you have the training to deceive that. But It's interesting. We definitely want to hear in the comments what you feel someone deserves. Or if you feel like it's none of our business anyway because they're celebrities. But we're asking if you were married and you would attain a whole lot of wealth and then all of a sudden, hopefully it doesn't, but the marriage does end. What do you think you as a man or you as a woman would deserve if you weren't the person that obtained the wealth, but married to the person that obtained the wealth?
I don't care if they're celebrities or not. I want to know, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know. I'm nosy. I don't care. Right. I want to know. But yeah, put it in the comments. We'll respond and get back to them, you know. Yeah, that's a wrap for this show. Glad you guys listened and tuned into us. We'll have another one out soon. And I'm Herb.
This is Jay.
We out.